imaginary people in this imaginary world are horrific. The descriptions of them, I am unwell. What a fun way to begin. This is the beginning of Camp Weekend Ween reading vlog. I am in the process of sending out a book, but my computer is having a time. Of course, every time I use my printer, which is not often anymore, because I don't have the job I used to have, it always goes into printer maintenance. Let's get everything ready and talk more. Sorry, I'm rambling. As usual. Camp Weekend Ween. It's only 3 days. So what did I decide to do? I decided to read 700 and what? 105. A 700-page horror book that I don't have access to the audiobook. I did. I checked it out. I put it on hold because it had like a 4-week hold. I put it on hold at the beginning of the month, and then it came like super fast, and then I forgot to like say send it to me later, and so now it's gone, and it now has a 6-week hold. So I doubt that it's going to be coming in. This is obnoxious. Coming in the next day or two. Let's just check for funsies. Yeah, six weeks. So I've got to try to make the most of my time. Today, the first day starting out not good. I've got a lot of things going on. It is Friday. It's printing. Let's wait. Yeah, so it's Friday and it is Friday before Halloween. So that means it's Halloween day at school. So I have Binley's Halloween party at 1 o'clock. My battery's about to die. So I've got to go to that. I've got to go take this to the post office. It is almost 10 o'clock and I haven't read anything yet. So I've got to take this and go drop it off, come home. I got to shower before the party and get ready because, I mean, not like I don't look like this all the time. But we're going like in public to see other parents. So let's... Oh gosh. I figured it was check-in time. I am on chapter 25, page 140, which I wanted to see how fast, like how much I can read in an hour, how many pages I can read in an hour. I put on a timer and I got to read uninterrupted for an hour straight. I read 40 pages. And I have to read 233 pages every day to get this done in the 3 days. So I essentially still have 100 pages to go. And it's like 8:30. Anyways, let's do an update. This is very good. I'm really liking it. I have yet to be like freaked out. There's a point where the boys are having a sleepover and they start like telling ghost stories, and one of them, like the legend of the town, it freaked me out the most. Luckily it was very short. There was like a really creepy part, like the very first 2 pages. I mean, it's creepy, but it didn't scare me. I think it's probably too because it was like reading it in the middle of the day. I kind of look like a floating head because I've got this. Anyways, so yeah, it's been good. I'm nervous because now, of course, it's nighttime and we're getting more into it and I don't want to be freaked out. I've been having nightmares for weeks, so let's hope this doesn't just like feed into it, right? Okay, I'm really liking it. And one thing, so it's not even that annoying, but one weird thing that I can't figure out if he's doing it on purpose or what, but he repeats, like he uses descriptive wording and phrases, and he like always uses them. He uses them multiple times and uses the exact same wording. On the tree house, like the stairs, they always put like boards that go up the tree trunk to climb up into it. He keeps referring to them as they look like baby teeth. And then I don't know, there's lots of different circumstances where he does, but I can't think of anything but that because I just read it. Oh, every time he talks about like when they step on a branch or a twig, like it says the twigs cracked under his feet like brittle bones. He says that every time. Calls them like breaking bones or bones, brittle bones. And I'm just like, it's kind of weird. I'm obviously only like nothing into this, but it's very intriguing. I'm very interested. I love how at the end of every chapter, it's almost like a cliffhanger in itself. Or not so much as like a cliffhanger, which it is. It makes you excited to turn the page. It's almost like I feel like it's a clue. Like it's a piece to the puzzle. Like the last sentence of every chapter. I don't know how to explain it. We know that there's like a task that he has to complete before Christmas. And there's a lot of references, like a lot of the chapter endings are referring to Christmas. Like there's a real estate agent when they're... I literally am afraid to spoil anything. I know I keep talking about this. If you've continued to like watch all my vlogs, then you know. But it's like, I am so paranoid about spoilers. But it's like, how do you literally talk about books without spoiling something? Like I can't talk about anything in this because someone might be mad and be like, that's a spoiler. Anyways, there's just lots of references to Christmas that you're like, is that gonna mean something? You know? So it's just all good. Yes, I need to keep going. I need to keep reading, but I wanted to check in, so. Because I also, like, forgot when I was talking earlier about all the stuff I had to do today and try to fit in the reading. Well, tomorrow is, like, Halloween. Because here in Utah, with Halloween being on Sunday, we will be celebrating on Saturday. Like, everybody will be going trick-or-treating on Saturday. We have our Halloween soup night trick-or-treating with the kids tomorrow. So, I mean, I have pretty much the whole day to read, but then as soon as Charles gets home from work, I have to go do that party, and I'll probably be there all night. So, I've got to go. I've got to keep reading. Okay, and then literally, as soon as I start reading, then it's the security guard part. That was freaking scary. The writing of this book is very interesting, and there's like lots of little things. Like there's never one perspective. Like I just read a chapter where it started out as, I don't even remember. It starts out like one person, and then it just like flows into another person's, and like it flowed into like 3 or 4 different people's. And it's not confusing and it's not messy. It's just like interesting. I don't think I've ever read something like that before. And then like, I don't know, it's just, this book is interesting. There's words that are underlined for not really any apparent reason. It will be like writing a sentence, and then like as the statement ending of the sentence, like something dramatic or whatever, it will like break off and be its own, like it'll be one word and it'll be its own line, and then I'll have like the period, and then like go on to the next sentence. So at the very beginning, when Christopher goes missing, it goes to this, so it just has like one word per page for a little bit, and then it like starts back up again. I don't know. It's just very interesting. I'm having a lot of fun reading it. And not meaning, obviously I'm having fun reading this story. This story's fun. But reading the way that it's like written and stuff, it's very interesting to me. Hi, hello, good morning. Day 2. And last night, I did not quite get to my goal. My child lately has just like decided She goes through spurts like this, where sleep is just not a thing. This is a new version of where it's just like we put her to sleep, and she just like won't go to sleep, and she just like kept getting up. I mean, it's sweet, and I love her, and luckily it's the weekend, so it wasn't a big deal, but like she kept coming in my bed, and I would go back in, and we kept reading Dr. Seuss books and snuggling, and she just didn't want to go to bed. So she didn't go to bed till almost 10:30, and I still had a lot to read at that point. Anyways, I didn't quite make it. I was about 20 pages off. This morning, really early this morning, I read a little bit, and I'm on 228. So basically, now I'm starting at basically the point I needed to be. Guys, right before I went to bed, after she did fall asleep and stuff, I continued reading. And I read till almost, it's probably like 11:30. This book is freaking scary. So I've read a few horror books now. A long time ago, I was so scared to read thrillers or anything because I was like, I'm baby. I don't want to be scared. Because at that point when I first started BookTube, my husband was working nights. And so I was at home sleeping by myself with my child, and I was like, I can't be scared. So now, like, I love thrillers and all that, and obviously, like, so now I was like, let's go to horror. Like, let's just try. And I've read a few, and they've been horrifying, but I didn't realize that horror could be, like, not scary, but just, like, creepy or gory or just, like, really dark and, like, twisted kind of stuff. This is that plus so scary. So I'm sure some people are like, that's not that bad. Like, I've read much worse. But this is my first, like, scary horror book. And just the stuff that is happening to this poor boy. Sweet, sweet Christopher. I was terrified. And then I had to go to sleep, and it was not fun. It was the part where he had his first nightmare at school, you know, during the test. These imaginary people in this imaginary world are horrific. The descriptions of them, I am unwell. So I literally stopped reading at that point because my husband was trying to go to sleep, and I was like, okay, I just gotta finish this chapter. It was a bad chapter to finish. I should have just stopped. Because at that point, it hadn't gotten that scary yet. He hadn't fallen asleep. Anyways, so I am on chapter 42. We need to keep going so I can get this done. Like I said, I've got several hours. I just finished eating breakfast. You're gonna see me looking like this because I don't have time to shower right now. I don't have time to do anything. I've just got to sit here and I've got to read to get this bad boy done. I'm really hoping I can do it, guys. This is a lot for me. Okay, I'm procrastinating. Let's go. Oh, should I show you this? It's not as cool when it's like not during nighttime, but you know, everybody uses these. I love them. But this one I found, what is it called? Witch's House in the Autumn Forest. It's a good one. Okay, let's get to it.
It's a great strawberry.
Not right now. All right, Ben, what are we gonna do? My head's cut off, but that's okay. What are we gonna do? What is this?
Of course I want to see you.
Finley, what is this?
We're gonna get an egg. He's being wet.
What kind of egg?
It's kind of Stegosaurus.
A dinosaur egg?
Dinosaur. Ah. You got it. You got it.
We can see what's happening. Okay.
But the egg I'm thinking of.
Now you gotta do it really hard. Oh, I think I see something right there on the top. How do we get that every time?
And be a shovel.
Yeah.
Huh? It's hatching?
It's hatching. What do you see?
Hmm.
Oh.
I think it's doing up.
There's a foot.
There's a foot. It's a Tyrannosaurus.
You think so?
A Tyrannosaurus.
Let's see.
Like a, huh?
Oh, what is it?
A Tyrannosaurus.
I don't think so.
Tyrannosaurus.
No. What do you think? Let's look at it.
Oh, it's better to wash.
You want me to wash it? You want to wash your hands?
Yeah, wash your hands.
Okay. And then you need these ones here. Okay, let's see.
Iguanodon. Yes.
You think it's an iguanodon?
Yes.
Let's see.
It's all dirty.
I think you're right. It's an iguanodon.
It's an iguanodon.
Good job. Should we read about it? Here you go. Go put it with the rest of your dinosaurs.
And your sucker.
Later. A lot has happened since I last updated. So I don't need to talk. I don't feel like I can update anymore on the book. It's going the same. Still really enjoying it. It's still scary. Lots of intense stuff is happening. But I fell asleep because I was very tired. And then I've been on the phone a lot. So I still have about 120 pages left to get to my goal. And I only have probably about 2 hours. And I still need to clean my kitchen. At least like do the dishes and stuff. Cause I'm not even going to show you. But that looks, we're going trick-or-treating in a little bit with my in-laws when my husband gets home. So I have until then. And then I don't know what time we'll come home and whatever and all that. That's what I need to do. I should stop talking and just do it, but I'm just procrastinating. If you can't tell, the costumes. So we were gonna get like, so Binley wanted to be a skeleton this year, which is very monumental because for the last 3 years, she has been a unicorn. And we have been unicorns. And that's all, she told me that's what she wanted to be. We bought her a new unicorn costume that fit her. And then she came home from school a couple weeks ago declaring she wanted to be a skeleton. So that was the plan. There's a life chit chat for you. I'm gonna eat a piece of candy and clean my house. I really wish I had the audiobook. It's really dark. A couple things that I've been thinking about that I haven't talked about. I get a weird, like, Stranger Things vibe from this book. That's kind of what it reminds me of. With the whole, like, imaginary world is kind of like the upside down. And I see the cop in here. I can't remember what his name is. I, like, see him as Hopper. So that's been kind of interesting. But anyways, I am on page 380, chapter 65. And obviously this is a long book. It's 700 pages. But I'm just sitting here like, what else is going to happen? Like, every chapter feels like the end. Like, I'm basically like halfway I'm only halfway. What more can happen? I have heard, everyone says, I can't remember if it's last 100 or last 200 pages, this book kind of falls off. And I can't remember if they say that, like, it's bad or it's boring, unnecessary. I can't really remember exactly, but this is just wild. That's right in the middle of recording, and I heard you.
You should put this in the video.
Oh, should I? This book is just nuts. I need Tanner to read it so I can talk about it with somebody. That's all. Love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what they say, but like, I'm interested to see what they're gonna be because, yeah, I'm like 400 pages in and I don't know what else could happen. But I mean, this book is also just so out there, so it's like my brain couldn't even fathom anything else. I don't know. We just gotta keep going, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I still have 80 pages. It is 11 o'clock. That would be exactly 2 hours I would still have to read. Plus, then read my stuff tomorrow, which I, again, realize tomorrow I have a lot more going on than I thought I did. I have church, and then right after church, I'm going to my parents' house for like Sunday dinner and all of that. So I have basically until like noon to read all of it. I don't think this is gonna happen, but that's okay. Gotta get off here, gotta keep reading. My husband just came and took his sleeping pills, so that means he's gonna, and we will have to be going to bed. Because there is no way I'm going to be reading this book in the dark with my reading light. So when he goes to bed, I'll be going to bed. So that's going to be about 30 minutes. Okay. I'm not planning on doing spoilers, so this may be my only one. So last night, so this morning, it's all blurring together. I talked earlier about how there's like random words that are underlined in here. And one was underlined when I was reading last night, and it was like a really weird word. Because sometimes it makes sense, like it seems like they're underlining it for like emphasis on it and stuff. But then there was one that was super weird that was like, that makes no sense. And all of a sudden it like crashed into me. I was like, what if it's a message? Like we're supposed to take all these words and it's gonna like say something. So I started back at the beginning of the book, and the very first word was like that, or so. It was something weird that made. It was like the first two words were like that, or something. I'm like, this makes no sense. And I like went like 3 or 4 words, and I was like, yeah, that's not what it is. Oh well. And I just kept reading, and now I've gotten to the part where Christopher just learned about David reading Frankenstein. So now he's found the book, and it says he cracked it open and looked at the title page. There was nothing. No notes, no writing. He turned the page and the next and the next. There was nothing, just a few underlines. Christopher didn't understand. He was sure that David Olson left him a message in the book. Why else would he come to the library? Why else did he listen to Mrs. Henderson's story? There had to be a message in here somewhere, but there was nothing but these stupid underlines. So now I'm going to have to go back and just write them all out and figure out what the message is. I have never been like this involved in a book. I also have my notes app open, and I've been writing, like keeping a list of all these phrases that they just keep repeating. You know, I was saying there's things like baby teeth, and the list is very long because I want to see if they mean anything in the end, or like I know they have to. But again, now it's gonna take away time to go back and like find all the words. It's gonna take away time from the reading. So do I just wait till the end? Or is it going to be revealed in the end and then I'll be sad that I didn't like figure it out before? I don't know. Maybe I'll try tonight. What a wild, wild ride. So it is Tuesday after the readathon. So it ended on Sunday. I was not able to finish by Sunday. I just had too much going on. And like I said, no audiobook, trying to do this slowly. Like I spent every free minute reading and I'm just a slow reader. We all know this. Anyways, I spent most of the day yesterday finishing up. I finished it. And so now here we are Tuesday doing the wrap up. After having the night, you know, some time to sit on this book, I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5. I did not hate the ending as much as most people that I have heard dislike it. It was weird. So everyone says like the last, from about page 500 to 550 or so on, they're like, it just tanked. Yes, it drastically slowed down and it took the turn that I was not expecting at all. But I was fine with the turn that it was taking. I enjoyed that. I'm trying not to like give anything away as always, you know me. But with my background and me as a person, it did not bother me, and there were things and like some of the twists that then it went to kind of blew my mind. So I actually enjoyed it, but it does stop being very scary. So it definitely slows down in the horror department, I would say. But that's okay. I mean, I would have liked if it would have stayed as intense and stuff as it was. Whatever. It doesn't matter. 4.5. I really enjoyed it. So for me, when it started to slow down at about 500, there was only a portion. So the last 100 pages. Let's look at the last 100 pages. From page 600, there was a portion, maybe about 30, 40 pages, where it was very repetitive and just like, it was the same thing. There was something that happened, and then it was like he wanted us to know how that affected every single character that we had followed. And so it was just like, okay, like I don't really care that much. So that part could have been like cut out. And then the actual ending, I really liked. And then honestly, so there's the epilogue, which is the last 5 pages. That was the most confusing part of the book for me. It really lost me. And I'm still kind of confused at the last sentence. Like what that means? Like, is there gonna be another book? Is it ambiguous? I don't know. I watched some people's reviews last night. I'm gonna go and watch some interviews with Steven and just kind of see where he was at with this book. I probably should have done that to add this in here, but then of course this would be a very long video and you probably don't care anyways. If you care, you can go watch them. This is one of the books that I just wanted to deep dive into so much. Like I just feel like I just want to know where his brain was at for 10 years and you know, why he wrote certain things. And I was so convinced. I mean, I talked about it, and even, let me show you. I was so convinced that the underlinings were going to like tell us something. And so I started like keeping in my notes app, I started like keeping the every time something was underlined, I started like writing them down. But I'm like, this isn't making any sense. And then again, I don't want to spoil it, but there was something else that started happening with like letters. And I was like, this is going to tell us something. And then I started keeping track. That did nothing. I also had a huge list, and I actually stopped at this point. I probably could have done 3 or 4 more of just like phrases that he was using over and over and over and over. And I did talk about that again. And I was like, there's got to be a meaning to this. But I could never come up with it. Okay, so here's a thought that I did have. Gabby, I went back and I'd already watched it, but she did like a big spoiler section and I didn't watch that. So I went back and watched hers. It was from like 2019 or 2018 when it came out. And she was talking about, I'm not a huge Stephen King reader. So sorry, let me kind of, there's lots of things. I know he took a lot. People are talking about this is so much of like Stephen King, you know, writing this huge horror book. And then he actually, in his dedication, or is it like acknowledgements? Yeah, his acknowledgements. Emma Watson, who inspired the ending on The Perks of Being a Wallflower set, and Stephen King, who inspired everything else. So there's a lot of like reference to Stephen King in this, and it feels a lot like I talked about how this book reminds me a lot of Stranger Things. Well, Stranger Things is heavily inspired by Stephen King, so it all makes sense. And then what Gabby was talking about was there was a lot more. I've only read one Stephen King book, and so she was talking about how in The Shining, there's a repetitive number in that always keeps coming up. And in this book, like, I kept noticing everything was 217. They wake up at 217 in the morning all the time. The hospital room number was 217. The apartment number was 217. Like, that comes up a lot. So there was a lot of nods to Stephen King that, like, I didn't realize that that's what they were. But so I think this is kind of the same thing as like the numbers doing 217. I think he wanted to do this, but I'm not sure like why, if there was a purpose or if there was no purpose at all and he was just doing it to do it. So yeah, like the song Blue Moon, he talked about it all the time. I proceed to rant and rave about all of the repeating phrases and things, and we don't need that. I hope you get the point, so I won't make you suffer through that. Those are just the things. There was a couple of, like I said, I stopped writing down. One thing that I also wanted to talk about that kind of was like, I wasn't sure if this was like on purpose or what, but this book felt like, again, as like a Stephen King thing, it felt like it was taking place in the 80s. That's what it felt like. Like there was times the way that they would talk about things, like they kept bringing up like they were eating chipped beef and just like things that they would say of how they were living. I was just like, this feels like it's not in this timeline. But then it was like, because then it was like all of a sudden they're talking about having iPads and cell phones and all this stuff. And I was just like I said, I couldn't figure out if this was like, it was supposed to make you feel confused or what, but I was just like, this is kind of weird. Anyways, I had a heck of a lot of fun. It was so interesting. And like I said, it's just one of those books where I just want, it's almost, I can tell I'm going to be like obsessed with this book. Not that it's my new favorite book of all time, but I'm going to be so obsessed with it the next little while. Like I said, researching it and watching interviews, and I just want to like get in the mind. Is that weird? I don't feel like anyone else feels this way as I do, but maybe me just being so immersed in it for 4 days and thinking of nothing else, maybe that's why it's done it to me. But anyways, I had a great time, as I've said. Okay, I guess I was saying that. Let me know if you have read Imaginary Friend. What did you read for Camp Weekend Ween? Camp Weekend Ween. It's hard. It's not, I want to say wing. Was it successful for you? Let me know if you did a vlog. I would love to watch other people's stuff. Also, in the words, what are they? In nod to Olivia, let's leave an emoji. This video's emoji is going to be the, isn't there like the shocked emoji? That one. Leave that emoji. Leave any other thing you want. If you want, I always have linked down below some of my other social medias and things. You can check that out there. And wherever you are, I hope you are happy, healthy, and loved, and I will see you in the next one, which will probably be tomorrow because I am just drowning in videos. Okay, bye!